Hey, sneak peekers! Happy Halloween! I'm Tori,
And I'm Evan.
and we've got a bone chilling Halloween special that we've been brewing in our cauldron.
Not only that, but tonight is also our wonderful co host birthday. Happy birthday,
Oh
Tori!
my gosh, Evan, thank you so much. You remembered. For tonight's Tori McClung Halloween Birthday Spectacular, we're bringing you a ranking of The Simpsons Treehouse of Horror specials, followed by our sneak peek guide to surviving a horror movie.
After that, things are getting really horrifying with a Trump versus Trump boxing match. Finally, our franchise doctors are back to communicate with shows beyond the grave in a special segment that we're calling Franchise Doctors to Resurrections.
Now, trust me, this is a show you won't want to miss. At the top of tonight's news, we are saddened to report a recent death of an up and coming Halloween icon. Mahershala Ali's Blade movie.
After 5 years, 2 directors, 5 writers, a revolving door of cast members, and a 10-second voice-over cameo in Marvel's internals, Marvel's Blade reboot starring Mahershala Ali has been delayed indefinitely. According to Discussing Film, the movie no longer has a release date.
Unfortunately, Wesley Snipes may have been right when he reprised his take on the character in Deadpool and Wolverine. There's only been one Blade runner, and there only will ever be one Blade.
Don't worry though, vampire fans. According to the rumor reported by Gizmodo, Christopher Nolan's next film may finally be his foray into horror.
Now, not much is currently known about the film, which Nolan is set to write and direct for Universal. Nolan previously resumed his relationship with the studio for Oppenheimer after dissatisfaction with Warner Brothers' release of Tenet.
The Hollywood Reporter has confirmed that longtime Nolan collaborator Matt Damon will star in the film, his first starring role with the director. Additionally, THR has confirmed that Tom Holland will also star in the film.
Now, while the details on the project are slim, THR sources have stated that it will not take place in the present day. And Gizmodo claims to have learned from a reliable source that the film will follow Damon and Holland as vampires in the 1920s.
I can't say I'm convinced that the rumors will turn out true, but Christopher Nolan vampire movie starring Matt Damon, sign me up.
Nolan's mystery movie is currently set to release in theaters on July 17th, 2026.
In other news, Deadline reported last Friday that Challengers director Luca Guadagnino will direct the new adaptation of American Psycho, with the Scott Z. Burns adapting the script.
Now, although most people probably think of Christian Bale's performance when they think of American Psycho, Guadagnino insists that his adaptation will not be a remake of Mary Herron's movie from the 2000s.
Instead, he claims his approach will more closely follow the original novel by Bret Easton Ellis. According to Guadagnino, negotiations are still wrapping up, so the film's release schedule is still unknown.
Speaking of major horror adaptations, Jason Blum recently confirmed at New York Comic Con that Blumhouse is currently working on the script for Dead by Daylight. Can I redo that whole part? Can I? Okay, my bad. That was just like, oh my gosh. 3, 2, 1. Speaking of major horror adaptations, Jason Blum recently confirmed at New York Comic Con that Blumhouse is currently working on the script for a Dead by Daylight movie based on the multiplayer horror video game by the same name.
According to Blum, the script could take anywhere from 1 to 5 years to complete, which he compared to the 10-year-long process of developing Blumhouse's other video game adaptation, Five Nights at Freddy's.
Now, that's all the news we have for tonight. But in honor of the spirit of Halloween, we have a horror movie recommendation from our sneak peeker, Gavin.
This Halloween, Gavin recommends that you watch Ghost Watch, a feature-length BBC special that only aired on Halloween night in 1995. According to Gavin, this slow-burn newscast-style special creates such an effective storytelling that thousands of viewers called BBC during the broadcast, believing it was real.
Now here's Gavin himself to bring you his favorite segments from The Simpsons' famous Halloween specials. Take it away, Gavin.
Hi-ho, sneak peekers. Hi-ho, sneak peekers. Sorry, frog in the throat. My name is Gavin, and one of my favorite things about Halloween is that it gives me an excuse to go back and rewatch some of my favorite episodes of my all-time favorite show, The Simpsons. Of course, I'm talking about the series' annual Halloween Treehouse of Horror tradition. For those of you unfamiliar, every year, The Simpsons releases a Halloween special composed of 3 segments, usually parodying classic horror and science fiction stories. So when I found out that this year's special, Treehouse of Horror 35, is debuting at Austin Film Festival in a special double feature with showrunner Matt Selman, I decided to put together my definitive top 5 Treehouse of Horror segments. In the number 5 slot, I'm putting in Clown Without Pity from Treehouse of Horror 3. The general plot of the segment is simple. Homer forgets to buy Bart a birthday present, so he ends up accidentally buying an evil Krusty the Clown doll that spends the episode trying to murder him. One of the things I love about this segment is how fast-paced it is. Despite being one of the show's shorter Halloween stories, I think that this segment does a great job of balancing getting out jokes while still telling a complete story. Of the classic Treehouse of Horror segments, I think Clown Without Pity remains one of the funniest. There's an exchange between Homer and a parody of the shopkeeper from Gremlins about cursed frozen yogurt, or Frogurt, that makes me laugh out loud every time I watch it. At number 4, I'm going with the first segment from Treehouse of Horror 7, The Thing and I. This segment is about Bart and Lisa discovering that their parents have been hiding an evil Siamese twin of Bart's named Hugo in the attic after the two were separated at birth. Now, technically this one isn't a parody, but it reminds me of one of my all-time favorite B-movies, Basket Case. There's a lot that makes The Thing and I stand out to me, but I especially love the appearance of the family physician Dr. Hibbert and the hilariously cruel twist ending. I'm also a sucker for a good Bart-led story, and this one doesn't disappoint. In third, I'm putting The Devil and Homer Simpson from Treehouse of Horror 4, which is a parody of the classic American short story The Devil and Daniel Webster. In this segment, Homer trades his soul to the devil, who is ironically his ultra-religious neighbor Ned Flanders, in exchange for a single donut. Before the devil drags Homer down to hell, though, his family convinces the devil to give Homer a fair trial. This episode is so funny, and it's also the only Treehouse of Horror segment to feature one of my favorite side characters, Lionel Hutz. However, my favorite thing about The Devil and Homer Simpson is that it ends on a really sweet note, with Marge winning the court case by proving that she had possessed the property of Homer's soul when they married years ago. My second favorite segment is also from Treehouse of Horror 4, Bart Simpson's Dracula. You can probably already guess what this one's parodying. In the episode, the Simpsons family travels to the castle house of Mr. Burns, Homer's boss. There, Lisa and Bart discover Burns is a vampire, and Bart is turned into one himself. Mr. Burns is pretty much a vampire in the normal show, but here we get to see him in full Gary Oldman Dracula glory. In addition to being packed full of jokes, the animation in this segment is also pretty great. Bram Stoker's Dracula is one of my all-time favorite movies, and I love the homages this segment makes to the Coppola adaptation. But without a doubt, the greatest Simpsons Treehouse of Horror segment comes from Treehouse of Horror 5, The Shining. This near-perfect parody of The Shining manages to cram so many iconic jokes into just over 7 minutes, including plenty of fun little jabs at the original film. The animation is also great, including a creative twist on The Shining's typewriter scene that I absolutely adore. I could go on about almost every line in this segment, but my personal favorite is Mr. Burns's, that's weird. The blood usually gets off on the second floor. Overall, The Shining is a perfect mix of both The Simpsons and The Shining, as well as the ideal Treehouse of Horror segment. But feel free to let us know your own opinions on social media at Sneak Peek TV. And be sure to look out for our coverage of The Simpsons Treehouse of Horror 35 and the rest of Austin Film Festival on YouTube at Sneak Peek Television. That's all from me. We'll be back with more Halloween horror after this commercial break.
Greetings, Sneak Peekers.
My name's Nia.
And I'm Evan.
And we are your hosts for Sneak Peek's Guide to Survive Horror Movies.
Tip number 1, don't wander off on your own.
We get it. You want to save the day and put an end to the madness.
But newsflash, chances are you aren't the film's hero. And really, no one wins in a horror movie.
Dallas?
So no, you can't take on the villain by yourself. And no, you are not special. And yes, you will die if you go into the woods to find out what that strange noise was. Tip number 2, if your friend gets possessed, leave them.
Chances are you are next, which is why you should ditch them.
Oh my God! Stop! Kevin!
Tip number 3, don't go into the basement.
You might think the answer you need is down there, but trust us, it's not. It's a fact that anyone who goes into the basement never returns. Just don't be that person. Tip number 4, do not go and investigate strange noises.
Seriously, name one horror movie where something good has come out searching for a strange noise the characters heard in the woods.
If you hear something, run, don't walk.
Last but not least, tip number 5, always have a flashlight and extra batteries.
The lights love to go out in horror movies, and you don't want to be caught without a working flashlight. How else will you see what's lurking in the shadows, or worse, creeping behind you?
It is essential that you carry batteries on you as well, or else who knows what catches you in the dark when your flashlight dies.
Evan, what are those? That's the wrong holiday. Just give me these. It's Halloween, not Easter. Anyway, thanks y'all so much. I feel ready to take on anything now.
Anything?
Anything.
Well, what about not one, but 2 Donald Trumps?
I'm not sure I'm ready to take on that. That sounds like a real nightmare, Evan.
Well, you don't have to imagine because we have 2 Donald Trumps in the studio here to duke it out.
Oh, no.
To decide which Trump trumps Trump.
No! What? No!
You'll see. Take it away.
No!
Welcome, sneak peekers, to the fight of the century. You've seen him take on the criminal justice system. You've seen him take on your election security, but you've never seen him fight himself. Welcome to the 2024 Trump v. Trump Boxing World Championship. Tonight, Tonight we will be having the most well-known impersonations of the 45th president, my personal favorite. I didn't say that. Duel to determine which actor truly encapsulates such an interesting man. Without further ado, it's time to meet your fighters. In this corner, we have Nolan Wally, representing the notorious, the loud, and the non-liable Alec Baldwin from Saturday Night Live. And in this corner, we have Trevor Lane, repping our newest contender straight from the 80s and hot off the Marvel assembly line, Sebastian Stan from The Apprentice. All right, I don't want to stall any longer, so let the battle begin.
Ref, why'd you bring in this fighter that's obviously under my weight division? Any new Trump impersonator should know they'll never be as iconic as Alec Baldwin, who played the character for 4 whole years. From his 2016 campaign all the way to the end of the 2020 election, Alec displayed almost every moment of the Trump presidency. Almost? There was some stuff at the end we don't like to talk about. Anyways, the energy he brought to his portrayal lit up Saturday Night Live every time he appeared, and frankly, it saved the show. I mean, he was so perfect that it landed him both a Critics' Choice Award and a Primetime Emmy. I'd like to see Sebastian Stan try that.
Sebastian played Trump in a movie. He wouldn't be trying for a Primetime Emmy, or as I like to call it, the Losers Emmy.
No, Primetime Emmys are just as good as normal Emmys.
All right, enough. Okay, round 1 is over. Now to round 2.
Finally, you know my opponent and I disagree on a lot for things. For starters, he thinks that the best Trump impression should try to be as loud and as topical as possible.
That's not true.
But smart people know that a good impression goes for realism. That is what makes Sebastian Stan the best Trump. In his debut as Trump in the 2024 The Apprentice, we see Trump as he was from the start of his segregation trial in the 70s to the writing of his highly sold book, The Art of the Deal. We see him rise from a glorified landlord under his father's orders to the head of the Trump family, under the mentorship of the late and great, totally awesome, amazing man, Roy Khan.
Didn't you abandon him once he caught AIDS?
AIDS? Didn't the liberals make those up or something? We can't all be perfect. Sebastian Stan paints a real and gritty picture of the president before he ever ran for president, showing his greed in all different forms, including his relationship to his first wife and his family, because that's what real actors do. They show nuance in their acting.
What nuance did Sebastian Stan show?
Well, you know, his daddy was mean to him.
This is the problem with Bucky's little movie. You depicted him as a deeply flawed man, and that's all there was. At least Alec was upfront about making Trump a cartoon villain, because that's all you can do. You're like the Cruella to my 101 Dalmatians, and buddy, everyone prefers the classic.
Emma Stone is a national treasure.
All right. We've seen enough. It's now time to take it to the judges. Do you think Alec Baldwin won? Or do you think Sebastian Stan won? Yikes! Well, it seems like Sebastian Stan is the clear winner of the 2024 Trump v. Trump Boxing World Championship.
No. This was obviously rigged. This is the most rigged fight I've ever seen.
Acting is not talent, okay? Acting is a gene. It's a gene that I have and you don't.
That wasn't even on the script. That's why he won. Oh, God, not this again. We'll send you viewers back to the commercial before this gets ugly.
Debate to rest.
Same, but it seems another debate is rising from the tomb. Our sneak peek necromancers are here to bring some horror franchise back from the dead.
Here's Dat, Annie, Tanvi, and Ed with franchise Witch Doctors Resurrections.
We come today to honor the passing of many different shows that we once loved. A moment of silence, please. Okay. Now, first let's go around and introduce the members of the panel. Begin.
Hi, I'm Guy Hall. Would you like me to share my grievances?
We'll share our grievances, don't worry.
I'm Ed.
I'm Tanvi.
I'm Annie.
And I'm your mournful host, Gavin, here to try to find some solace in the grief. But we are going to name our shows that we would like to resurrect from the dead. And then on top of that, we are going to give a show that we would like to get canceled in order to bring these shows back. So first, we'll all go around and list the shows that we have today.
Hi, I'm Daha, like I said before. The show I need to bring back, my dear beloved Teen Titans. I would love for my dear beloved Teen Titans to come back. This show had action, this show had drama, this show had comedy. By the way, not to confuse this with Teen Titans Go, that show was trash. But
Hold up.
no, this is my turn. I'm grieving. Right
Oh,
now.
sorry, my bad.
Because today these kid shows have none of the substance. It's all the brain rot these days, and I think Teen Titans is the show we need right now. Because the show I would sacrifice is Coco Melon. That show really grinds my gears. Every time I'm at a restaurant and I hear Coco Melon, oh my god, I'm about to crash out every time I hear that, okay? I'm about to smack the iPad out of that kid's hands. But yeah, anyways, like I was saying, I would love for Teen Titans to come back, and I'm willing to sacrifice Coco Melon for the greater good.
I second that.
Yeah.
I love Teen Titans Go, but
I agree.
I'll take the sacrifice. Okay.
All right.
Continue.
Very interesting choice. I think I would like to bring back Inside Job. I believe that we deserved more, honestly, especially for the great voices that it brought us and the interesting storytelling. And 180, I would give up the Scott Pilgrim show. As much as I enjoyed it, I felt it wasn't entirely necessary, and I kind of wanted to give something that was of equal value, I would say.
Fair. I didn't watch either, so.
Okay. Well, listen, I'm a giant fan of Inside Job. We'll forget about that last half. Tommy, can we please hear your show?
So, after a lot of thinking, I want to say sorry, Mom, but I have to put down Grey's Anatomy.
It's time.
It's time. I think it's done. If it's not, please, we've had enough. Yeah, and the show I'd like to resurrect is My Lady Jane on Amazon Prime. During the time that it was canceled, people had a lot of backlash, saying like, how did Bridgerton get like renewed? And not My Lady Jane. To be fair, it's about a guy turning into a horse at night, but it had great soundtrack and great like cultural references. But yeah, My Lady Jane, this one's for you. And I'm sorry for all the mothers and pre-med students. Grey's Anatomy can take its time off.
You know what? I feel like 20 seasons is enough.
Just about.
Just about.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right.
So, I would like to resurrect Netflix's Shadow and Bone. And Netflix is notorious, we know, for canceling shows without explanation or plan. Now, this show is based on a very famous book series that had a lot of books left. They only got through 2 seasons, and they butchered the 2nd season because I think that they knew they were going to put it to rest. And I don't appreciate that. I think at least if you see it going nowhere, give it a good, solid, accurate adaptation before you kill it. But I would have preferred if you just didn't kill it, because there was an entire sequel spinoff that people were excited about. This show was #1 on Netflix when it was being released. I mean, it was doing well, and I really honestly don't understand. I mean, they put so much hype into its marketing, and then they just said bye. Bye to fantasy, bye to fun, bye to magic, bye to everything. And in its place, I think I would kill something controversial, because I watch this show. I don't remember half of this show when I watch it, but I do watch it, Emily in Paris, because Emily's not going to be in Paris anymore. Emily's going to be in Rome. And I don't think it's worth this debacle with the, Rome and France are fighting right now because of this transfer over. And I just think, why don't you just kill it and then just start Emily in Rome instead? So that's my little switch off. I don't think the premise should go away forever, but I think that show should. Okay.
But would you call it Emily in Rome, or is it someone else in Rome?
Exactly, that's the problem.
Because then Emily could be in Australia, or Emily could be in Canada, and it
So
could
it's
go
just
on
Lily
forever
Collins,
and ever and ever.
like, just
Exactly.
going all over the
Lily
world.
Collins gets to go everywhere she wants, and wherever she wants to travel, they could just make a show about it.
I mean, that's a fun job. But the show that I think I would resurrect would be this show called 1899, which is another Netflix original, because it was promised to have a trilogy season. This was a show from the creator of, the showrunners created this show called Dark, which was critically acclaimed, had a lot of views, and then they released 1 season and people loved it, and then they just canceled it because it wasn't a #1 hit, because Too Hot to Handle was, in front of everything else. However, Too Hot to Handle has some value.
It
Now,
really does.
I will say what I think should get canceled instead, and this may ruffle a few feathers, but I do not care. I think Euphoria should be canceled in favor.
I agree.
Amen.
Like I saw it.
It's been 2 years. They're not gonna do season 3, no matter how much they're telling you. Rue is not gonna be a private detective. It's just not gonna work out. I am telling you. And if you're gonna waste all that time and I assume millions of dollars, and then not put something out, then I don't think that's right.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah. So I'm going to cast my flower for 1899. And hope that Euphoria stays in the ground.
I'm gonna put it down for Grey's Anatomy to die, and come back, My Lady Jane.
I'm gonna put it down for Emily in Paris to pass away, and for Shadow and Bone to resurrect itself.
We don't want Lily Collins to get any harm.
No,
Yeah.
love her.
We love
She's
Lily
amazing.
Collins. She's great.
It's not her
She's
fault.
great.
All right, and I would like to put the flower down for Inside Job and people with Asperger's.
I'd like to put flour down to sacrifice Cocomelon, hopefully rot, hopefully burn, for my beloved Teen Titans.
That is it's a crazy monopoly you're trying to take down. Cocomelon is
Yeah, I hate to break it to you. It's not happening.
Have you thought about what Mr. Cocomelon's gonna say
I hate
when
that.
this comes out? He's watching.
I hope he cries.
I see.
Dang.
Okay.
He did
Okay,
ruin
a little too
generation.
threatening for national television, but
Yeah.
Sorry to see.
You might need to hide.
yeah. But I think we've gotten through all the shows we want back, and looking back on it, I think Grey's Anatomy. Yeah, Grey's Anatomy. It's been.
I'm telling you.
Yeah. So please, if anyone's watching, please consider bringing back, please, please. But for now, we will just mourn the shows we have, and we will let it rest now. Take care, everyone.